All right, let's do it. Well, good evening, good evening. It is my pleasure to be with you. And I'm looking at the time there, and I'm recognizing I better set a clock on myself because it already says 48:13, so it's not going to help me at all. So we're going to be talking about energy as we go. And back in probably 1992 would be the date I want to start with. What we found was that from that point, we have trained over 15,000 people in facilitation skills. And we talk about what's called the 7 separators, the 7 things that separate great facilitators from good ones. But then there's the number one separator. The one thing that we found really makes it happen, that really separates it, and that's energy. So if I walked in this evening, or if Tara Lee, when she started, said, "Good morning, pleasure to be here this morning. We're going to be talking," you'd all know, okay, game over, time for me to go. Energy makes a difference. And I want to show you the story, my own personal story of how I started with energy and how this got going. And I call it my energy journey. And it starts back in 1989. 1989, I was a senior manager with Arthur Young. And that was the same year that Arthur Young merged with Ernst & Winnie and became Ernst & Young. Now, you may notice it did not become Arthur Winnie. It became Ernst & Young. So it was really a takeover, if you will. The Atlanta office that I was from was the larger of the 2 offices, and yet the Ernst & Winnie organization really became the dominant organization there. I'm only saying that because of what happened in October of 1989. A former Ernst & Winnie partner came up to me, a former Arthur Young senior manager, and said, "Michael, do you know how much energy you give up when you facilitate?" Now, this was a Ernst & Winnie partner talking with an Arthur Young senior manager. My reaction? "You don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm doing. I'm a good facilitator." In essence, he was giving me such a precious gift, and I wasn't ready to receive it. It took me 4 years to receive that gift, and I want to share with you that journey. So let's fast forward a couple of years. Let's go to 1991. What happened then? At that time, I was still a senior manager. By the way, that's a bad thing. I was still a senior manager with Ernst & Young. And I went off on my first facilitation training class. For those who don't remember back then, the best class in the U.S. was taught by Gary Rush. It was a 6-day class. It started on a Saturday, went all the way through for the week. It was full on. Very good class. Well, what really impressed me, and what I mean by impressed, had the biggest impression on me, is what happened the last 2 days of that class. Everyone got up to facilitate. They facilitated for about 45 minutes. Well, it was amazing. See, if the person who got up was high energy, you know what happened with the group? It became high energy. If the person who got up was kind of low energy, the group became low energy. If the person who got up was kind of folksy, the group became kind of folksy. It was amazing, and it happened every single time. Whatever the energy level was for the person who got up, the group took on that same energy level. And it was the same 16 people. I was like, I don't get this. I don't understand it. It didn't make any sense to me. How could this have happened? Here's the point. I didn't connect the dots. I didn't connect what happened in 1989, the partner saying, "Michael, do you realize how much energy you give up?" with this event that I was seeing. They were greatly connected. I didn't get it. So let's fast forward now another 2 years. It's now 1993. I had left Ernst & Young. I'd become the managing director of leadership strategies, the facilitation company. Get this, I was the first full-time employee, if you understand what I mean. Our world headquarters was our second bedroom. Yes. So interesting. And we were teaching, it was at that time, May of 1993, teaching the 3rd class. A person got up, and in our class, the last day, everyone got up to facilitate the group. Person got up, he facilitated our project planning methodology. Got the critical success factor analysis, got completely lost, and his energy dropped. And it was clear she wasn't sure what he was doing, and the session just dragged. It was kind of awful. I kind of wanted to put it out of its misery, but he went the whole 20 minutes. When it was over, we asked, "So what did you do well?" "Nothing. No, you did some things well." So we got that, and then we said, "Well, why did you let your energy drop?" He said, "Well, I just didn't know what I was doing." Well, as fate would have it, and we all know what fate is, the next person who got up used the same methodology, project planning methodology, got lost at exactly the same place, critical success factor analysis. But he kept his energy up. He kept going. I'm sitting here watching him because I'm doing the review. It was clear he didn't have a clue what he was doing. He was like a wild man. And they were following him. He was going off the mountain, and they were going right along with him. And so when the session was over, I asked the question, help me out. Why did you all follow him? People gave different answers, but there was a woman sitting where you were sitting who said, well, he seemed confident. He seemed to know what he was doing. And in that moment, in that very moment, it all came clear. I connected the dots. What happened in 89 with what happened in 91, what happened in 93. And literally in the middle of the room, I said, oh my God. Literally in front of the group. They were going, what was wrong with me? I finally got it. It made sense. See, what he was trying to tell me was this. See, when I was a consultant with Ernst & Young, the way I would consult was, it would look like this. Good morning. Thank you for meeting with me. I'd just like to spend a few minutes understanding some of the issues you're having in your organization. I'd love to share with you what we're doing with different organizations to see if we can be of help to you, great. If not, just love that you were willing to give the time. That's how I did consulting. Great, sounds sincere, doesn't it? That's how I did consulting. Guess what, everyone? When I facilitated, the exact same voice. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'd like to spend a few minutes. Now, that's a great consulting voice. It's a lousy facilitation voice. And here's what we've learned. Energy does three things that are really important. We call them the three E's of energy. Number one, energy energizes the topic. Your energy around the topic raises the energy of the topic. It says, wow, this must be important. It's important to the facilitator. So one, energy energizes the topic. Two, it engages the participants. It's just more interesting to listen to, isn't it? It just is. But here's the kicker, and it's the one many people don't know. Energy also elevates the facilitator. It makes you look like you're more than you are. Yes, it does. It makes you look confident. Why did they follow him? He looked like he knew what he was doing. He was clueless, but his energy made it look like he knew what he was doing. Now, here's the kicker. If high energy projects confidence, what does low energy do? Got it? The partner was telling me that my low energy was making it look like I wasn't confident. He was telling me I was projecting a lack of confidence. So here's what we teach around the three E's of energy. We say, let's say that's the line between when you're awake and when you're asleep. Got it? Most people speak just loud enough to keep people awake, with just enough energy. And our normal speaking voice, for me, it would be, good morning, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. That's my normal speaking voice. In fact, for those people who know me individually, they know I'm an introvert. I know it sounds weird, but that's who I am. If you meet me without knowing I was a facilitator, you'd wonder, this guy, he facilitates? You got to be kidding, right? And so, yes, in fact, just as an aside, one of the things my clients often say, hey, why don't you come? You're going to be meeting with the group on Monday. Why don't you fly in Sunday night, meet everybody over dinner, and then you'll facilitate Monday morning. I did that once. That's all I needed to do. Because guess what happened? Because of my natural low energy, when I meet people, they met me, and they would go, this guy's going to facilitate. Are you sure you got the right guy? Then after I facilitated, it was fine. So I've learned when people say, come in the night before, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not available, I'm coming in late. And if I'm not, I'm coming in late. That's what I'll do. But because after they meet me, what happens? Once I facilitate, they're running the conversation. They're asking me questions. It's easy. So anyway, so the point is, just to be clear, what we say is if you speak at your natural speaking level, great. You may start with, good morning, it's a pleasure to be here. But by the time you get to the break, it's going to be, okay, here's what we're going to do next. No worky. Can we agree? That doesn't work. So let's raise your energy to level 2. We'll raise it up one level, and you'll start fine. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. But guess what? By the time you get to the break, you're still going to be below the line. So we share with people to start at level 3 energy. Start at level 3. It sounds like this. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Because when it falls off, you'll be at your normal speaking voice. So let me just go through 1, 2, and 3, and you tell me what the difference is. Here's level 1. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Level 2. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Level 3. Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here this morning. So what's the difference? Some people say it's louder. Yes, it is louder. What else? It's more animated, isn't it? You get much more emotion. You sure do. what happens? I like to say it this way. The face gets bigger. You open your mouth more. I know it's not helpful for the face to get bigger, but you get the idea. You express more at level 3. Now, here's the fun part that most people don't know. Level 3 is slower. You actually speak slower at level 3. Let me show you. Here we go again. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Level 2. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Level 3. Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here this morning. You get it? You emphasize different words and so on. So we say at the opening of your session, first words out of your mouth establish the energy level. Therefore, set it high. So you know what you're going to say first. So if the first thing you say is, good morning, everybody, whoop, you just set the energy level. It won't go much higher. It's going to go a whole lot lower. Good morning. It's a pleasure. Just said it. Good morning. There you go. So we say think level 3 with the first words out of your mouth, set it high. There's one other point I'd like to share with you around energy, and that is, what do you do at the end of a break? Well, guess what? It's going to start up high. What's it going to do? It's going to go down. What do you do following the break? Bring it back up to level 3. It's going to fall off. Bring it back up to level 3. It's going to fall off. Away you go. People often ask us, how do you keep your energy up so high? We tell them, drugs. There you go. But you know the truth. How do we keep the energy so high? It's simple. We don't. We don't. But it just looks like we do. What do they think of? The peaks. When it's going down, going back up, going down, going back up. So one of the things that we find that's important to do is always set the stage with your energy. See, when executives walk in the room, who has the power? Them or you? They do. Now, you're trying to get them to turn their power over to you. And when that doesn't happen, it's a bad thing. The nice ones will just ignore you. They'll start playing on their BlackBerry, right? They'll start doing their thing, having side conversations. They ignore you. The not so nice ones, ooh, it's not fun, right? What do they do when they don't turn their power over to you? They start fighting you. Oh, you're talking about the wrong stuff. Oh, we shouldn't be doing that. You don't understand our organization. Why does it happen? Because they haven't turned their power over to you. So how do you get them to do that? The best we've come up with from an energy standpoint is to do these 4 things in the first 15 minutes. If you can do just these 4 things, we say inform, excite, empower, and involve, all in the first 4 minutes. If you can do those 4 things in the first 15 minutes, it helps them turn their power over to you. So how do you do it? Let's start with inform. The first thing we recommend is informing them about 2 things, purpose and product. The reason we're here is, the purpose of this meeting is, when we're done, we're going to have purpose and product. We call that inform. Then we want to excite them. We're going to excite them about what's in it for them. Not what's in it for the organization. What's in it for them? See, everyone in the world is tuned into the same radio station. What is it, everybody? WIIFM. What's in it for me? And so if you can broadcast on that signal, they will hear you. So we inform, we excite, then we want to empower. We want to get people understanding what role are they playing? What are they being asked to do? What decisions are they being asked to make? Are they being asked to make a recommendation? And then finally, we want to involve. Get them involved right in the first 15 minutes. So which of these 4 are we best at? Informing, exciting, empowering, involving. I'd ask you to say the word. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, yell it out to me. We better at informing, exciting, empowering, involving? 1, 2, 3? Yeah, we tend to inform pretty good, don't we? We inform, we inform, we inform. We're not so great at involving. Sometimes we don't empower. But guess what we tend to be absolutely lousy at, everybody? Excite. We don't do that very well. So I'd like to take a minute to focus on excite by giving you a couple of examples. You tell me which one's better. Take a look. This first one says, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Our objective for the next 2 days is to walk away with a plan for improving the hiring process. What's exciting about this? If we're successful, we'll walk away with a new hiring process that will help our organization get the right people hired and get them hired quickly. Well, let's compare that to this one. Example number 2. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Our objective for the next 2 days is to walk away with a plan for improving the hiring process. What's exciting about this? Well, today you may have people in your staff who don't have the skills or the attitudes you need. As a result, you're trying to work much harder, you're having to work much harder to make up for what they aren't doing. Well, this is your opportunity to put strategies in place to ensure you get the people you need with the right skills you need to get the job done. All right, so which is better, number 1 or number 2? If you think number 1, hands please. Come on, get them up. Who say number 2? There you go. In fact, number 2 is much better. Why, everybody? Because we whiff them. What's in it for me? But here's the thing to notice. Check out the number of yous and yours in that second statement. What's in it for me? By saying you or yours, you're putting them in the driver's seat, saying what's in it for them. So our recommendation is when you start a session, it's really important to whiff them. And how do you do it? By exciting them. How do you do that? By saying at least you or yours at least 4 times as you're doing that. Well, we've taken a second to talk about how do you actually build energy. We started with first, level 3 energy. You want to absolutely understand the 3 E's of energy, that energy engages. Absolutely. Energy has a way of elevating you as the facilitator. And energy is clearly much more interesting to listen to as you go through. We also say how important it is to, if you want to get executives to turn their power over to you, you have to do 4 things really well. Inform, excite, empower, and involve, all in the first 15 minutes. And the key that we don't do as well is excite, and we excite by with them. Give them you or yours, what's in it for them, at least 4 times. With that said, I am done. Thank you very much. I hope you found that helpful, and give me a hand, do we? Yes!